Hello and welcome back to ZRZ, and as mentioned in the previous video, the unboxing and first impressions of the Dualsense Edge PS5 controller. In this video we are going to be opening it up because I want to take a look inside, see how they've built this thing, what they've crammed into this controller, and see how all the features work, such as the paddles, the adjustable trigger stops, and let's see how big the battery is. We've heard that the battery is smaller, or the battery life is not as good on the Dualsense Edge. So we'll see about that and compare it with the standard DualSense battery so we can see what's going on inside. To get started, I've got a very simple Phillips head screwdriver. I couldn't find a proper pry tool, so I'm just using this plastic squeegee looking thing. It's quite soft, so it shouldn't damage the controller. That's pretty much all we're going to need to open this up. So we'll start off by taking off the R1 and L1 buttons. There is a screw hidden behind them, so you can just kind of pry these off. Probably will go flying. So as you can see, that just popped out really quick. You can do the same thing with the other side. I'll have to find them later, but those you can see exposed is a couple screws on the inside here. So with those two screws exposed, we won't remove them yet. We'll actually get to the bottom part of the controller because there's a lot more screws hidden behind there. So first of all, you've got this release tab to take the front part off. Let's just do that first. This release tab is quite hard to get to just with your fingernail, but as you can see, it pops out. We'll take off the stick modules first as well. Let's get them popped out and out of the way. I will actually have another video coming up about the stick modules in particular, because PS5 controllers are known for stick drift, and I really want to see what kind of analog stick they use inside of these. If they're the same as the standard PS5 controllers, then these are just going to end up getting stick drift like the other ones. So, and maybe that's why they made them removable, but I just feel like maybe it would be cool if they use, a better quality or a newer style analog stick itself inside. But we'll have to see. Definitely stay tuned for that video. Let's get the next one out. So with the stick modules out, let's see if we can pop out this bottom part. This grip area with the glossy plastic does pop out. Should be able to just pry open from one of these edges here. Yep, there we go. We can start to pull that apart now. So as you can see, with a bit of perseverance, it will start coming off here on the sides. There's a few clips at the bottom as well. We'll start off at the top and then it just slides out like that. You can see it kind of slots into place. So just make sure when you're pulling this out, instead of this way, you're kind of pulling down, just so that you don't break the clips here at the bottom. Now with all of that removed, there's one more thing we need to remove to expose all of the screws on this controller to get the shell apart, and that's actually this sliding release tab for the front plate. Now this is spring loaded, so you have to be quite careful with this bit because this spring can just go absolutely flying, and once it's gone, it's gone. So let's carefully pull this out. You have to actually slide it this way and then pull up from here, and this black plastic tab will remove. Push that way, lift up. So the black plastic piece is now out, and then we'll just release the tension on the spring so we can carefully twist that out of that little groove there. So the spring actually just slotted into that groove. With everything off, we've exposed quite a lot of screws. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 screws. Now let's just unscrew all of them and take this apart. These two black screws, you want to watch out for these because they are different to the silver ones. So having taken out one of the black screws, you can see it's actually longer than the silver one. So be careful if you are opening one, make sure you put the screws in the right place. All right, that's all the screws removed. As you can see, we should be able to just split at this seam here, and it should start separating. And we'll head up to the triggers and we can just pull, wiggle up and out. There's one side. There we go, other side out, and there we are. And that's the bottom shell completely removed. Now let's see what we have here inside of the Dualsense Edge. Look at that. So first thing, obviously We may have already read about this online. I saw some articles about it, but let's have a closer look. That battery is tiny. Look at that. Compared to a standard DualSense PS5 controller battery, this is the difference in size you can see right here. Huge difference. In terms of capacity, so the standard DualSense battery right here is 1560 milliamp hour. The DualSense Edge battery is 1050 milliamp hours. So definitely a smaller capacity battery, physically smaller as well. That's not really a good thing to see on a you know, a high-end pro, quite an expensive controller. I wish there was some way they could fit in at least the same, if not bigger, battery capacity, you know, in a more expensive controller, even if they had to make the back of it a little bit more chunky. So that is quite disappointing. I wonder if there's any way we could... No, that's not going to work. But yeah, so that's the battery. A little bit disappointing, but let's look at the rest. So here we have the actual paddle modules themselves. You can see they actually have their own little separate motherboard circuit board, which is attached to the main board in the inside with ribbon cables. So that's quite a good thing. That means it's somewhat serviceable. Let's say one of the paddles breaks or it stops clicking. I mean, you can see the mechanism here on the inside. That's the button right there, clicking in and out. If we actually put one of the, let's say we put one of these half moon paddles inside, that will give you a better idea. So that just clicks a button here on that circuit board. So let's say that button eventually wore out, or it stops responding or something like that. It is kind of nice to know that that specific paddle and that module is replaceable. So let's have a look at the trigger stop, adjustable trigger stop system. So as you slide this down, you can see it's actually rotating a piece of plastic with a raised lip on it, so that once you actually put it all the way down, it comes in contact with the trigger a lot sooner. But if you slide it up, it comes in contact with the trigger further up and then right to the top, and it allows the trigger to reach right to the bottom as standard. So that's a really cool mechanism. We'll see how it holds up after long usage, but it has a good click to it. You can see that tab locking it into place. It does have an extra spring there. I know I've had a couple PS5 controllers where the spring's broken on the triggers, so hopefully the springs don't break here as well. So the rest of the inside of the DualSense Edge looks quite similar in terms of the vibration haptic motors, and the triggers haptic system looks quite similar, other than the adjustable trigger stops. So of course there is more to it. There is the main motherboard sort of underneath these paddle circuit boards and everything like that. I'm not going to go into all of that just yet. I just mainly wanted to look at the paddle system and the batteries, but you'll have to let me know in the comments if you want to see me take this completely apart, every screw, every component, completely separated, just to see what's going on inside. Let me know in the comments and I may do that video in the future. But the next video that I've got coming up is more focused around the actual stick modules. I actually want to see if I can open one of these apart and actually see if they've used any different analog stick modules compared to the standard DualSense, and they always get stick drift. So I want to see if these are going to be any different. Are they going to be any more durable? If you're curious, then definitely stay tuned for my next video. I'll be going through that. So that's a quick disassembly of the DualSense Edge. Just to have a look inside, see how the paddle system works, the adjustable triggers, and unfortunately how small the battery is. We'll have to see how long the battery lasts in my review. I've got that video coming up soon, and definitely a lot more content coming up. So if you like this video, definitely like and give us a comment and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.